cooking in the kitchen.
Well, good morning. Last week, if you saw my previous video, you'll have seen I was in England for about 10 days. I just got back. So I'm just slightly rejigging my recipe running order. The recipe I did in England is still being prepared, and we'll sort that for next weekend. This weekend, I'm just going to show you instead a very short, simple and easy dessert. And it really is so simple. 3 bits of equipment: a bowl, a spoon and a whisk, and 3 ingredients: some jelly, cubes or crystals, whichever you can get, sweetened condensed milk, and some boiling water. That's all we need. So what are we going to make? Well, some people call it English mousse, some call it jelly whip, and others call it flummery. And flummery is such a wonderful, delicious word that that's what we're going to call it. So how do we make flummery? Well, we make the jelly up according to the instructions on the pack by adding boiling water and then leaving it to cool. But we don't cool it right down as if you were making jelly. We about half cool it so that it's starting to set but not completely set. Then we take a cold tin of condensed milk, and we just whisk the two together and then put it back in the fridge to finish setting, and then it's ready to eat. A very traditional, simple dessert. So flummery actually has a long tradition going back to the 16th century in the UK. Back then it would have been primarily made with oatmeal as the thickening agent rather than jelly, milk, and some kind of flavouring, maybe almond or fruit or whatever was available. But it was very much a poor man's dish, and was something which was commonly served in the workhouses and things like that. Not particularly inspiring, it has to be said. But it then had a resurgence straight after the Second World War. I think largely because companies like Carnation, who make the condensed milk, and Hartley's and Airplane in Australia, who make the jelly, started featuring it on their tins and packets. So the recipe you don't see in many places because you didn't need to write the recipe down. It was there on your tin of milk or your tin of jelly. And this is exactly what my grandmother used to do when she came to stay. Every time she came, she would always be making at least 1, if not 2, of these English mousses. So a very, very much a nostalgic trip for me to recreate that dish. Okay, so now we've got our jelly, which is starting to set a little bit, just about right. And we're going to add our sweetened condensed milk to that. And then we're just going to whisk it together. This might take a little while. In my grandmother's day, we used to have one of those old mechanical mixers, if you remember them. I'm using a hand one for now, but I might finish it off with an electric whisk before we finish. Just whisk it for about 5 minutes till it gets a bit creamy and fluffy, and then it'll go back in the fridge for an hour or so to set completely, and then you can serve it as it is, or you could add some fruit or cream, up to you. But either way, it's very tasty, so enjoy.
Why I can't eat a bite, those flaming eyes, that flaming youth. Oh mister, oh sister, tell me the truth. Now ain't she sweet, see her coming down the street. I ask you confidentially, ain't she